So, I turned 40, and on my birthday, I did something terrifying. I looked at my bank account. The number staring back at me was zero. Not a little low, a flat, empty zero. For years, I told myself the same story. I've got time. I'll start saving next year, or after that next raise. But at 40, time suddenly felt like a resource I was just about out of. The weight of it was crushing. I had no safety net, no retirement fund, and nothing to show for 2 decades of work except debt and this deep, gut-wrenching fear about my future. But this isn't a story about regret. This is about what I started doing the very next day. This is the step-by-step plan I'm using right now to claw my way back. I'm not a financial guru. I'm just a regular person who woke up at 40 and decided never again. And if you're feeling that same panic, I want to show you exactly what I'm doing, starting today. Number 1, the brutal truth, the financial audit. The first step wasn't about saving, it was about facing the honest-to-God truth. For 1 month, I tracked every single penny. I'm talking every coffee, every subscription, every impulse buy. I just used my bank's app and a simple spreadsheet. It was horrifying, but it was also incredibly enlightening. This wasn't about shame, it was about getting the real data. I needed to figure out my free cash flow. It's a simple idea. Take your monthly take-home pay and subtract your absolute needs, rent, utilities, basic groceries, and minimum debt payments. Whatever is left over is your ammunition. That's the money you have to start fighting back with. Finally, I made one big list, money in on one side, and on the other, every single debt with its balance and interest rate. Staring at my total credit card loan, car loan, and personal loans was nauseating, but for the first time, I could see the whole ugly picture. The fear was still there, but now it had a shape. I knew what I was up against. This financial snapshot is your starting line. You cannot skip this part. Number 2. Building a tiny life raft, the emergency fund. With the numbers laid out, my first priority wasn't retirement or aggressive debt payoff, it was survival. I knew any unexpected expense, like a car repair, would send me right back to my credit cards, digging the hole deeper. The only way out was to build a life raft, a small starter emergency fund. The initial goal wasn't 6 months of expenses, it was just $1,000. That's it. A small, achievable target to create a buffer between me and life's curveballs. One of the most important things I did was open a separate, high-yield savings account at a completely different bank. This was key. By keeping it separate, I wasn't tempted to dip into it for things that weren't true emergencies. Then, I put it on autopilot. I set up an automatic transfer of just $25 to happen the day after every payday. It felt almost pointless, but $25 a week is $100 a month. That's $1,200 in a year. To get to that first $1,000 even faster, I was ruthless. I canceled streaming services, switched my car insurance, and brewed my own coffee. I sold stuff I hadn't touched in years, and every dollar went straight into that emergency fund. This fund is what stops the bleeding. Number 3, attacking the beast, aggressive debt payoff. Once that $1,000 was sitting safely in its own account, I felt a tiny flicker of security. It was time to stop playing defense and start attacking the real beast, my high-interest debt. Every dollar I was paying in interest was wasted money I could have been saving. There are 2 main ways to do this. First, there's the debt snowball. You list your debts from smallest balance to largest. You make minimum payments on everything, but throw every extra dollar at that smallest debt. Once it's gone, you get a huge psychological win, and you roll all that money onto the next smallest debt. Your payment grows like a snowball, and you build momentum. The second method is the debt avalanche. This one is mathematically best. You list your debts by interest rate, from highest to lowest, and channel all your extra cash there. This method saves you the most money in interest, but it can feel like a grind. I went with a debt snowball. I needed those quick wins to keep me from giving up. Watching that first small credit card balance vanish gave me the motivation I needed. I cut my lifestyle down to the bare bones. No vacations, no new clothes, no eating out, and aimed all that freed up money like a fire hose at my debts. It's not fun, but it's how you get your freedom back. Number 4, creating the system, budgeting and automation. Paying off debt is a battle, but you need a new system so you don't end up fighting it all over again. I had to fundamentally change how I handled money. That meant creating a budget that was simple and automated. I adopted a simple rule, the 50-15-5 framework. 50% of my take-home pay for needs, housing, food, transport, 15% for retirement, and 5% for short-term savings. The last 30% is for wants and minimum debt payments. Your percentages will change, but the principle is the same. Every single dollar gets a job before the month starts. It's called a zero-based budget, and it's about being intentional. The real secret is automation. The day my paycheck hits my bank, automatic transfers do the work. Money is instantly sent to my retirement, my savings, in a separate account for fixed bills. I'm only left with what I'm allowed to spend. This takes temptation out of the equation. You're not just trying to save, the system does it for you. Number 5, the race against time, aggressive retirement planning. With my debt getting under control, it was time to face retirement. That question, is it too late at 40, was always whispering in my head. The honest answer is no, but you have to get aggressive. You don't have time on your side, but you do have what are likely your peak earning years. The absolute first place to start is your job's 401k, especially with a company match. An employer match is free money, an instant 100% return. My top priority was to contribute enough to get the full match. The IRS announced that for 2026, the maximum you can contribute to a 401k is $24,500. My goal is to get as close to that number as I possibly can. Any pay raise or bonus isn't for upgrading my lifestyle, it goes straight to my 401k contribution. After the 401k, the next tool is an individual retirement account, or IRA. For 2026, the contribution limit is $7,500. You can choose a traditional IRA for a possible tax deduction now, or a Roth IRA, where qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. The general target is to save 15 to 20% of your gross income for retirement. That sounds impossible when you're starting from nothing, but as you knock out debts, the money that was going to credit card companies can be redirected to your future self. It's slow at first, but consistency builds wealth. The goal isn't to get rich quick, it's to get secure. Looking back at that person on their 40th birthday, filled with panic, feels like a lifetime ago. The journey isn't over, but the fear isn't paralyzing anymore. It's been replaced by a plan. The steps are simple, but not easy. First, face the truth with a financial audit. Second, build a small emergency fund. Third, attack your high-interest debt. Fourth, build an automated system. And finally, start investing for your future aggressively and consistently. It is not too late. Your 40s are a powerful decade for building wealth. It takes sacrifice. It means saying no to some wants now so you can say yes to your future self's needs. This isn't a story about regret. This is day one of my financial future, and it can be yours too. Start now.